Welcome back to another review, this time for the anime Sanda, which had 12 episodes and was airing in autumn of 2025. Synopsis on AniList. In a future where children are few and regarded as Japan's most valuable assets, Christmas has become a mere legend of the past. For the students of Daikoku Welfare Academy, a boarding school where they are educated, protected, and monitored, the mythical Santa Claus is a forgotten character of fiction. For the adults, Santa Claus is a very real menace that needs to be neutralized by the Saint Nick Pursuit Unit in case he makes an appearance. Shiori Fuyumura, a student of Daikoku Welfare Academy, is determined to find her best friend, Ichi Ono, who has been declared dead after being missing for 6 months. One morning, Fuyumura summons her fellow class representative, Katsushige Sanda, only to attack the unknowing boy. She's convinced that Sanda is the descendant of the infamous Santa Claus, the only person that can make her wish of finding Ono come true, and is determined to force out his dormant true self by any means necessary. Okay. So we have Sanda, our main character, who is the blonde guy. We have Fuyumura, Shiori Fuyumura, who is the girl on the right, who is very tall. And together they try to find this missing girl, Ono. Fuyumura ambushes Sanda, and he transforms into Santa Claus. That is the idea. Now, for some reason, the adults want to hunt Santa Claus. Meanwhile, these two, they try to find this missing girl, Ono. And there are some very weird aspects to the show. One, this plays in a world where Japan has even more declining birth rate, even less children, more adults. That means children are seen as more important and are more or less first-class citizens. They have more rights, more privileges. It's even so far that if a child should for some reason kill a grown-up, that is totally fine. It is allowed to do, or they are allowed to do that. Or they don't get punished, one of the two. And it is very weird. Now, animation is done really well. It is really good animation. I like the art style. It's very nice. It has some uniqueness. The music is very fitting. We have like takes on famous Christmas music, which is very, very fitting for the show of like Santa Claus. The whole concept, I like the idea taking like a mythical figure in this case and, you know, putting it into a story in a little bit of a different context. While we may have or see Santa Claus as like this jolly dude who's bringing presents and, you know, being just a more round, huggable, good character. In this show, Santa Claus is a fit, muscly dude who is fighting a lot. There's a lot of fighting in the show. Again, very well animated, very well directed as well. And I like the idea. You know, you take something and you form it into some mythical creature and form it into a direction we would not normally see that character in. But there's a lot of weirdness in the show. We get to see those children, they're like 14, interact a lot. We see, you know, some of the themes around growing up. Additionally, we have like Santa Claus, you know, he or Sanda, whenever he transforms into Santa Claus, trying to help children, trying to find Ono. We have like this whole opposition of like the Saint Nick Pursuit Unit. We have the headmaster on the top left, he wants to hunt Santa Claus. I don't really remember why all this hate against Santa Claus, really. There are also some really weird rules around children. We find out later that children are not allowed to sleep. They're just supposed to sit in bed and stare at the ceiling, I guess. Which is very weird. If that is the case, why not just have something going on at the time instead of, forcing them to lie in bed for no reason? There's a lot of weirdness in the show, of the stuff you just have to accept is part of the world, I guess. There's like a different class as well, that is very weird. Can't really talk too much, a lot of spoilery stuff, but essentially we have it's not really focused on fighting, but we have these characters, Fuyumura and Sanda who can transform into Santa Claus, trying to find this missing girl, and we get to find out a lot about why she went missing, what really happened, a lot of the background information, rules, etc. in this world, which is very weird. One of the weirdness at the very beginning is that it is around Christmas time, but there's no snow. They even lamented that, I believe they said something about it being warmer or colder than normally, but it was warm enough for people to be in short clothes, meaning that there seems to be some, I don't know if it's global warming or maybe it got flipped, that our summer is now winter and their winter is now summer. There's something weird going on there as well. There is more stuff I want to talk about, but it would be a little bit spoilery. There are some parts that don't really make sense. The whole interaction between Santa Claus and the headmaster at the end is like weird. Between Fuyumura and the character is a bit weird. However, there are some. It is an interesting idea. I have not seen a show like this for a long time. It feels like it should be a shonen type of show, but it feels very distinct. Again, the art style definitely helps. It was very well animated, which helps the, overall show, which is very nice to see. It was animated, or the animation studio was Science Saru, who made Dandadan, and I'm very excited to see the next shows they have in store. One of them is like Ghost in the Shell. Then we have like a Witch of Mongolia, I believe it was, and Dandadan season 3 naturally. And I'm very interested because they are really crushing it with the animation. Really looking forward to what they have up their sleeves next. Hopefully they don't disappoint. But yeah, there's some stuff I want to talk about later a little bit. Let's just go into ratings for this weird show. AniList has it at 75%. My anime list at 7.5, meaning the ratings are a little bit weird. Normally AniList is a little bit lower, but sure. I would give it an 8 out of 10. It has some weird parts. Stuff you have to just accept, but animation great. The music is a very nice touch. The concept is weird but interesting. I do like some of the characters, and it is very weird. Now, spoiler warning. One of the things that is a little bit weird is the fight between Santa Claus and the headmaster. Because the whole point is, oh yeah, if Santa Claus wins, Ono is being put back into school. If the headmaster wins, he's going to kill Santa Claus, which he can't because Santa Claus is, you know, invincible, which makes the whole fight stupid. Especially at the end where they were like fighting in front of the kids, and then the headmaster was like, hey, let's go somewhere else, and it is like, why would Santa Claus go with him? There's no reason, just to show off his new ability. That was very weird. Then we had the whole part with Ono that was very weird. Again, spoiler, that, you know, she's there, she has this growing pain, we are led to believe she died, but then she did not die, but then she died, and then we are like, did she really die? But then the show is like, yeah, she really died because of growing pains, and it's like, it is very weird. I mean, I can understand the explanation that, you know, you are not supposed to grow up in one night, and that is why, you know, she had to pay the price. Cool, yada yada yada. But it's like, the whole idea was weird. Then we had this fiance of Sanda, which at the beginning I was like, but she was, you know, she grew on me. I liked her quite a bit. And we had this whole class 10, which is like only for the children that murdered someone, which is like, okay. And then the headmaster allowed one of them to be in the festival that had adults in them, which is like, why? Sure, you want her to go and kiss Santa Claus, which you know is impossible because he's invincible. At least we are led to believe you know that, because you did not pursue him after the fight, even though he was quote-unquote defeated. It is weird. Some of the parts are weird. However, it still is very interesting. It is very unique in its story and art style.